Why my son? He smelled just like your daddy. Spending time at your house.
Hey guys,
That bitch is crazy.
probably something wrong with me.
What's good, YouTube? We just saw Ma, a movie that was directed by Tate Taylor, who also did The Help, and it stars Octavia Spencer, who played in The Help and won an Oscar for that movie, and she also executively produced it. This is a story of an African-American woman who had a troubled past, and she let that manifest into her current day behaviors, which was crazy as a bag of cats. Honey, what are your first thoughts as I put on my +7 glasses of sexy as hell movie reviewing? Because I'm working on skilling my craft. Please subscribe to this channel and check out the Life Game Financial channel. First thoughts, honey.
It was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
Okay, any details, and any punctuation you want to put on that?
I like to say I enjoyed the movie. I like the dialogue between the characters. Ma was a trip.
Man, this chick was crazy.
It's like somebody, you've seen somebody do some of the things that she does or says. So she's very, don't want to say relatable because you don't want to relate to a character necessarily in that way.
But you can relate to segments of the emotion the character portrayed.
You can.
Because she was obviously the best part of this movie. I would love to see more movies that have Oscar winners take on a psychological thriller such as this. And it was good to see an African-American woman lead this. When's the last time you've seen an African-American woman lead something like this?
Not a thriller or not this type of genre movie, no.
And not only did she lead, but she is the part that you can't take your eyes off, because in one moment she's very sad, and then instantly she's a nutcase. And then from there, instantly she can charm you. Then from there, instantly she's doing the MC Hammer with the kids. Just looks like she had a ball in this movie. The acting, we can't say enough, was great. How do you feel about the story narrative itself?
It was believable.
It was believable.
It was very believable.
To some degree, I would say.
Yeah. I think a lot of us growing up, you remember that party house. You remember there's always this house on the block or around the block where you tell your parents you're going over to somebody's house and their parents are going to be there to feel like you're in a responsible environment.
Right.
But you know that on the low, their parents are just, let you do whatever you want to do. That's kind of what her house was like.
Parents living foul.
But the biggest, I guess the red flag should have been that she didn't have any kids, or at least you don't think she has any kids.
Nor does she have friends. So this is a PSA to all my high schoolers watching this review, and to the parents that's got high schoolers. You tell your kids, damn it, if they find a middle-aged adult that's inviting them over to the house, buying them beer and things of that nature, and they don't see no other adults, that is a red flag.
Exactly.
I mean, a huge red flag. And for me, that was part of the movie that I didn't like. I felt like they got lazy with the writing, because there were several times these kids could have avoided what Ma put them through, but they didn't.
But I think the kids, they knew it was a red flag, but they didn't care because they just wanted some place to go party. So they knew something was off or something was wrong, but they didn't care.
Now, there were times after the fact, especially Maggie. Maggie is the daughter of probably the supporting actress in the story. When she saw her earrings was missing, that was time she should have told. That was it. They could have done it then. When they broke into Ma's house and saw those pictures all on her wall. I mean, Ma had a shrine. And a little bit of backstory, Ma's troubled past was with one of the parents of the kids, the dad. And I'm not going to tell you what the dad made her do, but the dad made her do something that was so traumatizing, so deep in her psyche that she could never let it go, from the time they was in high school to the time that he has a kid that's in high school now. That was another opportunity that they could have told and they didn't.
Yeah, because they just wanted to party. And they kept warning each other. Some of the kids would say, we don't need to go over our house anymore. They knew something was off. But again, they kept getting lured back because they wanted to enjoy themselves and have parties and do what they wanted to do.
And so let's just talk about the ending of this movie. I was wondering, how would they spin the end of something like this? And for me, the ending was just okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't spectacular, but I feel like the ending was just a catapult for there to be another movie if this one does well. How do you feel about the ending?
Yeah, I think they set it up to go either way. So it can either be resolved as it is, or they can definitely spin it off into another movie.
Another thing that made Octavia Spencer so great in this movie was just the absolute dynamic of anti-villain that you can accept. Then she flips into a role where you don't like her, but overall, when you understand what she went through, you're actually rooting for her at some point in time in that movie until she continues to do her dastardly deeds, and which you say you can't be for that if you're for the love of humankind.
Yeah, I agree with that. There are some, initially starting off, you wanted somebody to stop her. And then when she would interact with certain characters, you wanted her to have the upper hand and her to get her get back.
Right.
So, they did a really good job of making you feel sorry for her and root for her. But then on the other hand, know that eventually she would have to get her just desserts as well.
Exactly. And another PSA for my young African Americans out there. If you're in a group, young kids, of about 6 kids, they're all Caucasian American, you're the only African American, evaluate what's going on so that you don't wind up in scary movies like this one, because the black dude in this movie, who was the only black kid in the movie with that group, at the end she painted him whiteface when she was doing other deeds to some of the other kids. So in closing, we want to know, what would you rate this movie, 0 being terrible, 10 being the best? Give us your Life Games rating.
I would give it a 7.
Okay.
And just because, I was entertained. It wasn't the best movie, but it wasn't the worst. So I was entertained. I never got bored during the movie. I laughed a lot. I was horrified in some areas, some parts, jumpy in others. So I would give it a 7.
And I'll give it a 6.5. There was, the second act had a little part that got a little slow for me, just a little bit. Not too bad. And I do kind of feel like they were a little lazy in the writing. So for those reasons, I give it a 6.5. I would say it's tit for tat. You can wait for the stream or you can go see it. But for the support of Octavia Spencer and her coming back, or more actresses in her ilk coming back to do these type of movies, I would say go see it. And also for this to be a horror movie and it was rated R, they didn't do too much gore. So if you're going there thinking you're going to see a lot of gore, it's not that gory. I think they could have probably done more with the gore. And one of the major reasons it's rated R is because you're going to see a penis head. Other than that, it's not many other reasons why it's rated R. Any closing statements?
No, I'm just glad I went to see it.
Yep.
Like I said, I was entertained. And I just give kudos to the writers just because it's a little bit of a different spin on something that we've seen before.
Little bit. So yeah, I'm up and down with the writers, but it was a different spin, and we hope we get more of these type of movies coming back. Well, that's it, honey. You want to tell them goodbye or subscribe to the channel? Or
of course, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Yep. That's it, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, share, go see Ma, go support those people that did that movie. She did a great job. She will entertain you by herself. And until the next Sex is Hell video, we'll see you.